Hello, welcome back to Rabbits Forever. So today I wanted to do a video about mini lops. This is my girl. She just got off a litter and I wanted to do a video on whether this is a good first-time pet for you, or if you're new to breeding and stuff and you want something that you're not worried about dealing with a bunch of deaths and stuff like that, because dwarf breeds, in my opinion, typically have a lot of deaths and they're hard to breed, and it can be very frustrating and make you really just not want to breed anymore, and it just deters you from rabbits in general. So what this video is, like I said, good pets, good breeding stock. I want to give you the best information possible. And mini lops, in my opinion, they're not the best pet I've owned, the best pet rabbit I've owned. They're not very personable. They're not very, they're just not very cuddly. They'll sit there and cuddle with you. They're fine with it. It's not like they hate you and are trying to crawl out of your arms and scratching and biting and all that. Sorry, I have fur everywhere because it's molting season, so it's getting stuck to my chapstick. Worst idea ever. But, so mini lops, for pet purposes, they're good. You're not going to be disappointed. I mean, for the breed, you get that cute little smushed face, you get the lop ears, you get a larger size, but not so big that you're trying to pack this massive animal around. So overall, they're a good breed. I'm not going to say don't buy this breed because it's awful. I don't think any rabbit breed is awful. Everybody has their own preferences. But when I think of a pet, I think of something that's very personable and is excited to see you when you open the cage. And obviously every bunny is different. I've only owned, I believe, 5 of these mini lops. And you know what? I did have one who was very personable with me and stuff like that, but even him, he wasn't as personable and loving and cuddly as some of my other breeds that I've had. For me, I would definitely go with an English Spot before I went with these. And the English Spot I actually didn't recommend as a first-time owner because they're crazy. They really are. But this isn't about them. You can look at that video in my previous videos. I think that was one of the last ones I did, so it shouldn't be too far back in there. But a mini lop, they're a good pet. I'm not going to say don't go out and buy one. They're a great pet. They're just not going to be, they're not usually excited to see you. Like I said, they'll let you pick them up and flop them around and cuddle them up close to your chest and stuff. And she's just sitting here like, okay, whatever. And this girl, I don't handle very much. So it shows you how just okay they are with everything. I really don't handle her that much. She's not my go-to animal to play with. Plus, she is a breeder, so I don't want to be playing with her while she's on a litter or while she's pregnant or late gestation pregnant. In her early gestation, I'll pull her out and cuddle with her and stuff and do videos or something with her. But more on mini lops, they don't bite. So right here, most rabbits don't bite. I honestly haven't had an issue. But as you see, I'm sticking my hand underneath her face. I'm playing with her mouth. She's a little irked at me, but she's not going to bite me. I still don't suggest sticking your hand under their mouths. That's another topic that I should discuss in a future video of don't let your kids stick their hands underneath their mouths, because little kid fingers may look like carrots to them. But, because these guys aren't dogs. They don't care what you smell like. They're not dogs. They're a bunny, and they're just always a little nervous about everything. Not all of them are, but some of them are. I had one bunny, I have actually had a couple bunnies who really don't care. They don't care if you're a giant dog or a hawk or a cat. They're going to run up to you and try to play with you like every other animal, or beat you up. It just depends on their personality. But yeah, Mini Lops, I don't really know what to say on them other than they're easy to handle. When they're babies, they are not easy to handle. You really have to get through the first 6 months with them before they're easy to handle, because I've got a couple babies right now that I really just want to throw to freezer camp because they're driving me a little insane every time I try to grab them. I believe she's a year old now, and she's also had a few litters. So she's really calm. She's really easy to handle. Most rabbits, once you get them past a year, they're really just relaxed. They don't care what you do to them. Like right now, I'm playing with her butt fluff because she has butt fluff, and I think it's the cutest thing in the world when bunnies get butt fluff. Yeah, after you get them, really any breed, I've noticed, past a year, they're just calm as can be, except for maybe satins. I did have a satin that I only had one satin, but from what I've heard from other breeders, that they're just really not handleable. You can't really handle them very well. They really like to just run and scratch and nip at you and stuff. He never nipped at me personally, but I've also never owned a rabbit that's tried to nip at me. Or bite me for that matter. I've never had one of my own bunnies bite me. Just because I know how to handle them, and I should go through a video in the future about handling a bunny because they're pretty easy to handle, but that's not what this video is about. This is about Mini Lops. Now for breeding, I can tell you a lot on these guys. These guys are amazing breeders. Not the best I've ever had, but far from the worst I've ever had. So these guys, I've only had her as a breeder, so I only have her as a reference, but from what I've heard from other breeders as well is that they're very easy breeders. Her personally, just for her, it took me a long time to breed her because she wanted nothing to do with my bucks, and she would beat the crap out of my one buck. He was also a lot smaller than her, so that's another factor that you have to put in, is he was a lot smaller than her and she just didn't like him. So it took me a while to get them to breed. Eventually they did, and I thought usually first time breeders, they're usually all like that. They just don't know what's going on. They just know there's another bunny in there with them and they don't like it. Some aren't, some are. It just depends on each individual rabbit, not just on the breed. But second time I bred her, she did the same thing. She wasn't nearly as bad, so I think the more I breed her, the better she's gonna get, and that's how it should be with pretty much all breeders, is the more you breed them, the easier they breed. She was an amazing first-time mom, kept all of her kits alive except for one because she ended up over cleaning it and biting off one of his legs. So instead of trying to save it, I ended up just putting it down. Second litter went splendidly. She kept all 7 kits, I believe, alive. So absolutely amazing on her second litter, and I have no doubt that her future litters are going to be the same. They're going to be just spectacular. Now, mom-wise, I don't know if it's just her, but her first litter, she actually started attacking after they hit a certain age, and I can't remember how old they were. I think they were only like 6 weeks old. She actually started biting at them and aggressively jumping at them and stuff, and I started noticing little scabs on some of them, so I ended up removing them from her cage and putting them in with their dad, so that way they could still have some bunny on bunny time and learn a little bit more from their dad, since you're not actually supposed to remove the babies until they're 8 weeks old. So that ended up working. Dad was great. He was super good with the babies. He didn't nip at them at all. Her second litter, they're almost 10 weeks old now, and she hasn't done that to them at all. So I think that was just kind of a one-time thing that her hormones were kicking in and stuff. So, but overall, I definitely, for first-time breeders, if you want a good Lop breed that's easy to breed, they're good moms, they produce a lot of milk and stuff, this is a great breed for you. Now for showing and stuff, this is a bit more difficult breed because you do have to worry about the crown. You do have to worry about the crown placement. You have to worry about the length of ears. You have to worry about how they droop and airplaning, and there's a whole nother world on that. You have to worry. And then the rest is all pretty much the same. Shoulders, wide, width, depth, peak. On these guys, you want short faces. So most of their points not most of their points, but most of their extra stuff you have to worry about while breeding is on their head. And other than that, it's kind of the same because, on every other breed, you worry about the shoulders, you worry about their peak, their width, their depth, their color, their texture and coat, all that fun stuff, which every breeder, if you breed for show, knows. But overall, I definitely do suggest this as a first-time breeder. Great moms from what I've heard and just experiencing her. Pet-wise, like I said, really easy to handle. They're not very personable, and when I say personable, I mean, as I said before, they run up to the front of the cage, they're excited to see you. They love cheek scratches, they love to be held, just overall you can tell by the way they react to you that they really like you and they really enjoy interacting with you. These guys kind of are just okay with it. They don't care. They'd rather just be left alone, but they don't care if you play with them. So either way, still a good pet rabbit, the little kid, or you if you're not a little kid, because we adults can have pets too. I have hamsters in there that have absolutely nothing to do with a breeding project or anything like that. And for breeders and stuff like that who do just want a pet, they're pretty good pets. They just kind of sit around and they don't really care. Like I said before, you definitely have to get through that first 6 months. She was not a happy camper those first 6 months. She was very angry at me all the time. But that's just her. Thank you for watching. I hope I answered any of your questions. These guys come in most of the colors recognized by ARBA. So you get a huge color variety. They have beautiful fur, very thick fur. They're a compact breed, so they're super cute. They got the smushed faces, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.